Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. With the recent release of SCR version 2.3, Season 1 of SCR Update Theories came to an end after 6 episodes. In this first episode of Update Theories Season 2, we'll go over the evidence for SCR getting a freight operator as well as the places it would serve. While I didn't think that this freight terminal at Newry Harbour or these freight sidings at Airport Parkway would ever be used by a rail freight operator, my opinion on that changed when a freight terminal was added near East Berrily in version 2.3. Let me explain. Recently, SCR's been using scenery to tease upcoming features. Construction sites around Stepford City hinted towards Metro, and a block of tunnel stub near Barton hinted towards new Metro lines in that area. As a result, the freight terminal at East Berrily probably serves a similar purpose. But that's not the only new freight reference, as a fully meshed Class 66, a train commonly used on UK freight routes, can now be found at the Newry Harbour Freight Terminal. I don't know exactly when it got there, but it was definitely after version 2.0 came out and probably as part of version 2.3. By the way, SCR has around 10 stationary 66s, but the one at Newry Harbour is the only one with a proper cab and a livery that isn't this one, so it almost certainly hints towards freight and possibly its livery as well. Now that that's been established, let's look at where freight would go. So far, I know of 2 terminals and 1 spawn point that it would use, the terminals being at Newry Harbour and East Berrily, and the spawn point being those sidings at Airport Parkway. One interesting thing to note is that while SCR's current track layout would allow trains from the sidings to reach either terminal, it wouldn't allow for a route between those terminals, not to mention that trains wouldn't be able to leave the one at East Berrily. As a result, SCR would need 2 new sections of track if freight were to be added. One of these would solve the East Berrily terminal problem, being a crossover just after where the terminal's access track joins up with the Morganstown main line. Freight trains would use it to access the Morganstown main line's eastbound local track, allowing them to continue towards Bewley Park. Meanwhile, the other would be a link between Bewley Park and Morganstown docks, allowing access to Port Benton Station and by extension the Newry line, including the terminal at Newry Harbour. It would start just east of Bewley Park Station, use the empty space left behind by the 2.3 Morganstown flyover upgrade, and join up with the line towards Port Benton just south of Morganstown docks. If you stood on the footbridge at Morganstown docks and looked towards Bewley Park, you would understand why that would make sense. As for the type of freight this route would carry, it would entirely consist of containers moved on flat wagons. After all, both terminals have lots of containers around them, and nothing else would make sense for this route. By the way, the route would probably use the passing tracks at Newry and mainly pass platforms 1 and 3 at Benton, with platform 2 being used as an alternative if necessary. That's all for today. Subscribe if you enjoyed this and comment your own theories if you have any. By the way, links to the music and footage I used can be found in the pinned comment. See you next time. Bye!